Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to something just a little bit different. Now, it's no question or no secret, ladies and gentlemen, that for those who are at all familiar with the actual namesake of this channel, and you are at all curious as to where I got the name from, well, I got it from this here album. Also, the actual... In fact, to show you just how absolutely out of my way I went for this, I even put on probably my favourite t-shirt that I currently own, which is literally just "And Justice for All," but with a black background. It was just what they had, and what can I say? I couldn't get enough. Now, I do know my actual physical CD of "And Justice for All" is like around here somewhere. It would probably be in like somewhere in my closet, but it's like it's at that time of night where I just sort of wanted to talk about this, because now I go very, very back and forth personally about whether or not "And Justice for All" is the best song that Metallica have ever done. To my knowledge, ladies and gentlemen, because I've been listening to Metallica for 6 years now, I would say it's somewhere roughly, it's like top 5 probably, ladies and gentlemen. That's "And Justice for All" is up there with the likes of "Disposable Heroes," which is still, for my money, the best song that I think Metallica have ever made. It's also up there with "Fade to Black," because "Fade to Black" is daunting, but it's genius in how subversive, in every sense of the word, I find the song. Then there's also "One," which is no question about it, ladies and gentlemen. Perhaps the sad, outside of maybe "To Live Is to Die," "One" might be the single saddest song that Metallica have ever written. Well, maybe only second to "Live Is to Die." And bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, "To Live Is to Die," "And Justice for All," and "One," all from the same album. And then there's that to think of. In terms of like what else would I put, like maybe top 5 for Metallica? That's gonna be a little bit like I don't really know what exactly would rate top 5. I don't think "Enter Sandman" is like top 5. Maybe it's a toss up between either "Orion" or "Ride the Lightning." That's really what it comes down to. And bear in mind, again, the competition for like the top of the list is very, very high. But at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, for like top 5 would be "Orion," "One," "And Justice for All," "Fade to Black," and "Disposable Heroes." And if there was ever a point in which I wanted to actually openly talk about "Disposable Heroes," because that was the first time I ever listened to metal music and it physically made me cry. In fact, it's like very, very difficult for me to even mention the song, because I can already feel myself coming over right now, because it completely recontextualizes and completely redefines the meaning of war. And, well, I suppose for other reasons, and to get this a little bit back on track, why did I want to actually spend my time talking about this song? Because I could have just as easily talked about the Al Pacino movie, "And Justice for All," about it as well, from 1979, because I've seen "And Justice for All" as well, the actual movie, and the movie is... I'll have to like reconsider it, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm not entirely sure if it's one of my... I'm not too... Again, it's absolutely one of my favourite movies of all time, but I don't even know if it's top 5 or top 10, because it's almost tied with the likes of something like Boys in the Hood. Because when I finally sat down and actually watched Boys in the Hood, I think because it's not the sort of movie you thought it was going to be. And that's the sort of thing that it completely blew my mind when I was watching it, which made the tragic parts all the more tragic, and it made it because of what it was from the late great John Singleton. It completely recontextualizes the sort of things you didn't think that they were capable of doing. Which that is a game changer right there, ladies and gentlemen. And again, this is even in competition to things like the movie "I, Daniel Blake" by the legendary Ken Loach. So let's get ourselves back on track just a little bit, because for reasons I want to explain later on, the whole philosophy of this channel and everything I want to culminate to almost comes a little bit back to this. So let's get to it, shall we? So one thing I always love about this opening, ladies and gentlemen, it's the calm before the storm. It's like everything you think is going to be okay, and things are going to be a little bit more gentler. Going to how Hetfield just strums his guitar just so gently. And I say guitar because And Justice for All is kind of infamous for a lot of people because it doesn't include bass. But to be honest, because of how almost perfect this song is anyway, it's one of those things we could say, well, is it really, could it be any better than this? Well, that's like a very difficult question anyway to ask, let alone answer. And just before we get pulled into the storm itself, I kind of also want to talk a little bit about the album artwork as well. It's obviously it's meant to be a figure of justice with literally money tipping the scales, and her arm is almost like confined in chains a little bit, as she's either letting go or she's just being pulled, or she's being pulled apart. Then you also take notice of the fact that even the background is just, it's the symbolic of the actual cracking of like the justice system, or even to put it another way, you could almost interpret this as like almost something akin to a Banksy painting, like as though this was meant to be just drawn onto a wall that's just sort of been neglected. And maybe neglection of the system is possibly a theme throughout this album, well, at least in this song anyway, is whether or not things just go on in the background and they're only really being brought to our attention when they've actually not got something to say, but when somebody elevates what they've got to say. And you notice as well, just even the figure of justice herself is like cracking at the seams. And I know one little criticism people do have is they think that the intro just, it goes on for like way too long, for like even for 2 minutes in a 10-minute song. But maybe this is like the snobbish side of me coming out, but it's called, they're building up an atmosphere. It's called ambience. It's called tone. It's called art, my friend. That's what they're doing. Oh dear.
All the justice painted green.
Money talking. price. You pay, nothing can save you. Justice is lost, justice is raped, justice is done. Pulling your strings, justice is done. Seeking no truth, winning is all. Fighting so grim, so true, so real. I'm bleeding, something so bleeding. In deep animosity, so deceiving. Through your eyes where light burns, hoping to find Inquisition sinking you with money in my hands. The ultimate vanity. Sporting their supremacy. Can't believe the things you say. I can't believe the price. You pay, nothing can save you. Justice is lost, justice is raped, justice is done. Pulling your strings, justice is done. Seeking no truth, winning is all. Fighting so grim, so true, so real. I know fine well I'm going to just let like the entire like instrumental just like play out, because that's like an entirely other dimension of the song for itself, and I know you find well you're probably seeing me grin from ear to ear. It's because of this very, very curious reason, and I'm going to share it with you guys a little bit. The whole reason why I wanted to do this, ladies and gentlemen, is that you know where sometimes in life you feel like you need a little bit of external motivation. You need something to physically shake you. You need something to physically make you get up and stand up for your rights. This is the sort of out of body experience I'm trying to like portray. It's George Orwell famously stated that he wanted to make politics into art through his writing, and well, it stands to reason, ladies and gentlemen, because one of the things that I so absolutely love whenever heavy metal or when music just straight up talks about political subjects or things that just go on all around us, it gives you an enormous sense of remembrance about what your cause is, what you're fighting for, what you believe in, what your beliefs are, what do they mean to other people, and finally, well, carry on, my wayward sons. That's the sort of experience that it could just be through music, it could be through a book, it could be through a television series, a film. There are so many things out there, ladies and gentlemen, that can easily motivate you, or even ways that can motivate you in the sense that, do you remember what it was you were fighting for in the first place? And music for me is just one of them. If there would even come a point where I would even show you guys And Justice for All, the film, because it's the sort of film that I imagine they would have let me watch when I was about 16 and I was like doing RS classes about moral judgments, alignments, deciding what you know is right from wrong, actually fighting for something that you should be taking a stand in. For anyone who's ever seen the film as well, I will refrain from spoiling what happens in it, because that movie is, somebody did say is that it's Al Pacino's second greatest performance, and I don't really watch like a lot of Al Pacino stuff. I haven't even seen The Godfather, so that's something I'm going to have to see for myself. But just so we're clear, ladies and gentlemen, is that there are so many examples alone that Metallica have done, but also things that, well, I'm remembering of Megadeth's Holy War's The Punishment Due, which is even in this day and age, it's the perfect sort of thing to... It helps expresses my opinions probably better than maybe I ever could. So now with that little breather out the way, it's time to once again leap back first. And here's just what I want to say about the entire instrumental coming up, is that it gives you the paradigm that things are a little bit out of control, that there's you're thrown into a world that is sort of, now that you've seen what it's trying to portray, does your outlook on the world change? Knowing what Metallica have got to say, saying halls of justice painted green, money talking, power wolves beats out the door, hear them stalking, hammer of justice crushes you, overpower. What are your opinions now? Because it doesn't seem very fair and just when it's portrayed in this way, but who's to say that it's the sort of thing that, again, if Metallica had released this last year, you would hear the likes of Michael Gove going off saying that they are subverting democracy by saying that things aren't perfect, or they are deciding what they can and cannot do, which we disagree with. So it's useful for so many different situations. So here we go. Assassin, roll the red tape through your lips. Now you're done in. Spend money, get so skills again. Make your deal. This one is truth. I cannot tell. Can I feel? The ultimate vanity. Exploiting their supremacy. Can't believe the things you say. I can't believe the price we pay. Nothing can save us. Justice is lost. Justice is right. Justice is done. pulling your strings, justice is done. Speaking no truth, winning is all. And it's so grim, so true, so real. Speaking no truth, winning is all. But it's so grim, so true, so real. You know what? I've mentioned before about my issues about whether or not I still think this is like the greatest Metallica song ever made, because every single time I go back to this song, that question becomes harder and harder, because yes, you know what? Every time I come back to it and listen to it, I keep thinking to myself, you know what? Maybe this really was the best that Metallica ever did. Which I know is probably going to be a controversial opinion, but, well, have you seen the rest of this channel? And secondly, there's just something fantastically, like almost visually, like stunning about what they said about, what was, oh God, like, you know, I can't believe the things you say. I can't believe the price we pay. Nothing can save us. It is literally, now it's turned on its head. Now all of a sudden, it's almost becoming the mask is becoming on us, and all of a sudden we are now both victims of what we set out to do, and we sow what we reap what we sow, ladies and gentlemen, and it's the sort of thing that makes you very auspicious about the idea of, well, are we any better off, or are we worse off, or whether or not things have continued as they have before, except now the entire concept of justice is now just a byword, something that people want to use when they want to sound impressive. Well, I've got some news for you, ladies and gentlemen, is that I will never stop being impressed about every single time I come back to this, and it's far from the only song that Metallica have done in this style. I mean, they've been doing this ever since 1982, but even as we go forwards, ladies and gentlemen, and there's plenty of other things I want to check out as well, and sort of talk a bit more, like, in detail, it's the sort of thing I just kind of, I can't get this stuff out of my head, and all the other songs, again, I want to talk about, whether it's talking about politics or, you know, war. And there's just too many things I want to like continue to learn about and continue to read into. So that's just half the fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little expedition into actually discovering like more heavier themes in music. And I cannot wait to talk to you guys again in the next video. Take care and bye-bye for now.